Good morning, Flosstube. It's Victoria, the Happy Stitching Nurse. It is Flosstube number 10 for me. I want to say thank you for everybody who is returning, and if you are new here, welcome. I really appreciate this community. Everybody has been leaving beautiful comments. I last time had said if you had any questions to go ahead and ask, and I would answer them if they weren't, too personal. First off, yes, I am a nurse. I do work in a hospital. I have done what's called medical surgical, where you're on a floor. You have patients who are out of surgery, and then there's patients who are called medical telemetry, and they are patients who have come in, they haven't had a surgery. I've done intermediate care, so that's between a critical care level and the medical telemetry, medical surgical, and then I have also done ICU. And with each of those, I have done what's called float pool. So I would get sent to all the different units. So I would go to a surgical ICU, intensive care. I would go to a medical intensive care. I would go to the ER, take care of people in the ER. I wasn't an ER nurse, designated as an ER nurse. I would get floated to the ER for people who are what are called holds. So they're waiting for a bed somewhere in the hospital. And currently, right now, I am doing case management part of nursing. So it's helping people with getting to the next level of care and making all the arrangements for them in that aspect. If they need equipment, if they need to go to another facility, that type of thing. Oxygen, I make those arrangements. So just as a little bit of what I do. Yeah, that's probably about as far as I'm going to go. My family knows that I can come home with stories that are, for them, probably horrific, but my coworkers and I will sit and we'll talk to one another and not, bat an eye at it. I also have done, before I forget, I have done trauma. I have done a trauma unit, so that was pretty interesting. And when I came to Las Vegas, I went to a hospital that does not have a trauma unit. So that is just kind of where I'm at in my nursing career. So, and you might notice in the title it says something about pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners are driving me absolutely crazy. Reason being is someone like this little gal here and her sister, actually more her sister, they have been dragging pipe cleaners out of my grandson's craft container. My cat, Hermione, I'll put a little picture of her up here. She actually lifts the lid, because it's one of those lids that closes and the middle meets. She will lift it up and dig pipe cleaners out of there. So everywhere you look, there are pipe cleaners going on. $1 for, I don't know how many, like 100 pipe cleaners or so. So everywhere you look, on the stairs, on the couch, everywhere, there's pipe cleaners. And of course, she's proud of herself because she has hunted down these pipe cleaners. So yeah, that's why pipe cleaners is in the title. I have occasionally thought about doing a stitch with me. I don't know. I don't have like fancy nails or anything. I just don't get the manicures done. So I don't know if people really want to see that. I don't know if I have enough to say to do a stitch with me, but it's something I have contemplated. If any of you think that that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know. And I'll see if I can kind of work it in and maybe do one at some point. So, I did have a question about, I'm looking down because I've got a notebook here, which I've had to tuck my little ribbon away. I tuck it inside the book because, once again, little felines, they like to attack it. And if I'm trying to pick up my book, I don't want to be speared. They have not been declawed. I personally do not believe in declawing cats. So, yeah, I get speared when they're trying to get things, especially the pipe cleaners. It's kind of why I'm in a danger zone here. Anyway, let's see. What was I talking about? Project bags. That was the next thing I was going to talk about. Someone did leave a comment about one of my project bags. Let me see. I think should have been better prepared, but oh well. It is a project bag that I made with Tula Pink fabric. I showed this previously on one of my other videos. I was asked if I make them for order and for selling, and I don't do that. I don't even know where I would begin with something like that, how much to charge, anything along those lines. Yeah, so sorry, that's really something I really haven't thought of. I just don't know if that's something that I have the energy for. So I was also asked about the quilt behind me, if it was a needle turn quilt. It was done with fusible interfacing. So I do have a template. It's like a hard acrylic, something along those lines. In fact, I'm going to pause because maybe I can find that. All right, I am back, which you probably didn't even notice because I probably did some, editing magic or whatever I can do in the way of editing. I don't know if it's magic, but anyway, I used this template. I did purchase it from Missouri Star Quilt Company. I'm not sure if it's showing backwards for you guys or not, but I used this to trace out all of the fabric pieces as well as the fusible interfacing. And I sewed the fusible interfacing and the fabric together where it was right sides together. Then you cut a slit in the fusible interfacing, turn them right sides out, and then you can iron it down onto the background fabric. I will, sorry, I'm having a bit of a hot flash here. Like I said last time, people are going to have to probably suffer along with me because I'm not doing take after take because of having, issues with having a furnace from the inside come out. Anyway, I will put a link down below for everybody, and that way you can see the tutorial, and I'll see about finding the location of this template, so if anybody's interested in making that quilt for themselves, you can go ahead and get this template. So I will put that in there. I have sewn other quilts. I have this little quilt here. It's not very large. It was made with some charm packs, or a charm pack, part of a charm pack. I don't think it was the whole charm pack. It is for the cats. One of them this morning was grabbing hold of it and shaking it like she was a dog playing with a rope toy. I don't know about these cats. They're ragdoll cats, and apparently they're called, their nickname is like puppy cat because they can be somewhat like dogs, and obviously I have one that is exhibiting those type of traits. Let me see here. I'm just trying to see. Oh, floss holders. currently with my Quaker Christmas sew along that I'm doing, I will show you how I'm storing my floss. So I'm using DMC 115. It is a variegated. So here's a little bag that I have, and it just zips closed. It's just this little plastic bag that zips closed. And so here is the floss that I'm using, and it is, well, if I put it up the correct way, it is 115, and it is gorgeous. The way I work with it is I will use one skein at a time. I pull the ends off, and I pull from the end and have it all the way stretched so that I can have both ends meet and have it folded in half. I bring the fold up to the ends, and I end up folding it over several times so that I have a certain length. It's maybe about the length of my arm. And then I snip the little edges that are curled or curved, little turned edges. So currently what I do is I have the one that I've snipped, I have in this bag here. And as you can see, I've got two little snippers in here. And the little zipper is missing because one of the cats decided to grab hold of it and rip it right off, and it flung across the room. Luckily, it can still kind of zip closed, and I can open it, so that way I don't have to worry about her digging out any of my floss. So what I do is I've got my floss here, so I have several left from a skein. This is the second skein that I've been using on the Quaker Christmas sew along. So I pull out one group, which of course has 3 threads on it. 3. Yeah, there we go. Me and my numbers. There's 6. I can get 3 sets of sewing times with this. So I get 3 lengths of floss out of it. So this is how I'm currently working on it, and I will just work that whole length. So all 3 I will work on my project at a time. Then I'll move on to a different one that's got different coloration in it. So I just work it that way. I don't sit and pick and choose all of the different colors out of it. I do try to go back and forth between the light and the dark, because some of them will be quite brilliant and then some of them are quite dark in color. I'm not sure if you can quite make that out. But I will go back and forth between what I'm using for those at the time. So I just kind of fold them over, and I'm actually kind of discovering that I really like this system for holding my floss. I have been using drops before, but I pull the threads off and then I discover that my threads are kind of curling a little bit, and then I have to use thread conditioner, which to me I feel has been leaving almost a little bit of a residue, and ends up causing my fingers to get that residue, and ends up tarnishing my needles a little faster than on the outside of the needle. So I might convert over to this. So my sisters maybe turned me into a convert, but I still like the idea of having everything all cut. That way I'm not having to worry about cutting them while I'm working on my project. So I'm just doing it one skein at a time. The others are just sitting here waiting to be cut. So that is how I am currently working with storing my floss. Well, before I move on, so I'm using DMC 115. Here is my progress on my Quaker Christmas. So I'm getting there. For a little while there, my mojo for stitching was kind of missing. I was coming home, I was just mentally exhausted, So this is the progress I have made. And as you can see, the lettering is in a different color. I am using Sulky, and it is 712. I believe the name of it was Nearly Black. I can't recall, but it is 712 that I am using. I will also be using, where is it? Oh, I didn't pull it out. I do have a gold that I'll be using. It is in Sulky as well. I will be using it for the star symbol. There's an angel that's on the pattern as well. So for my pattern, I printed it out because I did get a PDF. So I think you can see here. So the angel is gold. The lettering, obviously they did in red, but I'm doing red for the majority of my pattern. So that's why I chose to go with that Nearly Black. So part of my pattern I do have printed. I will work from that at times. Majority of the time I am using my iPad, and I can just mark off. I can zoom in on areas, and I have an Apple Pencil. So with GoodNotes, I put the PDF into GoodNotes, and then I zoom in and I just mark off the stitches as I go. That's how I do that part there. Feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit. Get something to drink. Hold on. Got my morning coffee. Neighbors were shooting fireworks off until 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sure they'll be doing it again tonight. So coffee is my best friend today. All right, so boyfriend glasses. I've had a few comments about my boyfriend glasses. I have 2 pairs. So let me see which one is which. This pair here is a little bit lighter. As you can see, it has a port here for USB charging. So, like I said, it is a little bit lighter. It does have an opening over here as well, but it is not opening. So here is what looks like an opening, which won't open on this one. But this one, it does open, because this one is not a USB charging. Let me see here. If I can get it open. There we go. So this back comes off and batteries go in here, and it's just a couple of AAA batteries that go in, and you just pop this back on. And I think with the batteries, it tends to feel just a little bit heavier on the nose. So this one, they both have lights. This one, the light, you just push it forward, and there's only the one level of lighting. The other one that I have, it has a button right up here, and the light itself still tilts, but the button, you can push it once and then push it a second time for a little bit brighter. So those are the 2 that I have, and they come with a number of different level of magnifying. I believe it was 6 that came. They came in a holder, and it is a total of 5 magnifiers that come in it. So here's a little packet that comes with the magnifiers, and so you can choose which level you want to use, and it's phenomenal. There's times where I use just the glasses without little magnifiers just for the light. So I'll do that too. This past week, actually just yesterday, I received these from Amazon. These are magnets, and I'm using them to hold the edge of my stitching, the fabric. It helps to hold it. I do use a hoop, and so I'm using this to help wrangle in the edges so I don't have this big length of, I'm closing a drawer so the cat doesn't climb in there. It holds the fabric off to the side and kind of groups it and keeps it there all together. I got this pack. It's a pack of 20, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah, 20 of them, and I believe I paid $17.99. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I will put a link down below for anybody who is interested. So I was holding out on purchasing these because for the most part, I've been using my needle minders to help hold the fabric, but then I felt that it was a little too unruly and I needed something to help just kind of hold them in. So I ended up purchasing them. My sister had a pair, and then recently I saw CrossStitch with some, and now I'm a convert. But these are great because not only can you use them for your cross stitching, but they were showing where you could use this on wires in your home. So if you've got a bunch of cords, you can use this to help wrangle them in, and you don't have to worry about the zip ties where you end up having to cut it in order to get to them. You just pull the magnet apart. You could even twirl this around a pen and put it on to your fridge. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do with this. So I'm a convert at this point. Everything's going to be magnetized in my house. Poor kitties. They might be in mortal danger. So my Sojo, my sewing mojo. So my Sojo has been somewhat gone. I was making a whole ton of masks during the big craze of COVID when it kicked in. There weren't masks going on in the hospital. They had to reuse a bunch of masks. So I was making a whole bunch of masks and just taking them in. Okay, kitty, no, not a toy. This is what I'm using to try to, it's a deterrent spray to try to help keep them from attacking things. Especially that quilt behind me. Hermione likes to try to leap at that and climb up. Well, it's kept on there with binder clips, and so needless to say, it falls down on top of her, and then she gets a little irritated. So I spray it with this. It smells like Pledge, lemon Pledge. Anyway, I digress. I was talking about my Sojo, which is my sewing mojo. I have had a couple of project bags, and I'm going back to project bags. I've had fabric cut out for making another project bag, and I've had zippers picked out for it as well. Here is my fabric, coffee, and then I've had all of my plastic and my interfacing all cut out. It's been sitting there for a while, so I don't know. I'm starting to feel like I might sew. I do need some project bags because it is July. I'm no longer stuck on just one project, and now I'm going to have a few other projects that will need project bags, and I really like having the area where you can see through the bag so you can see what project it is. And as it is currently, I have a couple of project bags where I have a few projects in that same project bag. So they do need to be separated because they will multiply in there when they're together. Well, they don't really multiply. It's my orders that I make on 123stitch.com. That's what causes things to multiply. Anyway, I think that was the majority of everything that I had to discuss for this time. I wanted to have a little bit more in the way of progress on stitching before I did a video, but like I said, didn't really have a whole lot of mojo going on for doing stitching. So now yesterday I was doing a lot of stitching. The day before I was doing a bunch of stitching. So now I am at the point where I'm feeling like it's coming back And now that I've pulled out my fabric that I've had sitting here for a little bit, I will probably fire up my sewing machine, and I will have a few project bags to show for the next time that I have a video that I'm going to be putting out, and some progress on some of my patterns that I have, because I do have other patterns that have been calling to me, and I am no longer having to stick to just one project during the week like my sister and I had decided for the month of July, or June, sorry, not July. God, like I said, I don't know. God bless those who are monogamous, but now I'm at the point where I'm just working on my Christmas one, but I do have a temperature tree that I need to get to, which apparently I just need to put flames on it at this point because we're so warm. Anyway, I will see everybody maybe next week or 2 weeks from now. I'm not entirely sure. It depends on how much progress I make and how I'm feeling. Just everything kind of goes through waves where I'm loaded with energy, and then other times where there's been a lot going on and I'm very depleted. So, and before anybody asks, I do other sewing besides just quilting. This shirt here I did make for myself. It's got these little ties on it, which is a little bit dangerous around my cats. And anyway, that is it. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy out there, be kind to one another. And until next time, and before I go, I need a shout out to my sister, Can-Am Stitcher, Sarah. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing any of all of this that I do. So, and like I said in my last video, if you want to see somebody who gets their projects to the level of FFO, to where it's Martha Stewart level, go over to her channel and you will see some fantastic projects that she completely finishes and has made into these beautiful and project, and yeah, where she gets them completely finished, whereas me, they like to hang around. Anyway, feel free to leave comments, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. Go ahead and put any questions in that you might have for me. And like I've said before, I may or may not answer them. It just depends on how personal they are. Sometimes I'll just answer them in the comments. A couple of them I answered today, but I did answer directly with the comment as well. I do try to answer every single comment because I appreciate everybody that has come and appreciated my videos, enjoyed them, and left comments for me. Anyway, thank you, Flosstube. Until next time.